Hello, everyone. Flobo Boyce here, back with Global Book Network. And even though I've personally struggled with art, my guest today makes it look absolutely easy. And we have a lot of things in common as well. Please welcome Sylvester Peck Sr., the writer of Images, the art of Sylvester Peck Sr. How's it going, sir?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic, and I will tell you what, I was looking forward to being on your show today. So, and being able to, I will interact with you and see what you got going on, and see what we
Yeah,
can talk about.
absolutely. So, as of right now, you're based in Florida, right? On the Panhandle?
Tallahassee, Florida, yes.
Yeah, I used to live in Florida. I did my undergrad and my college at Flagler, which was over there at St. Augustine, but they had a campus in Tallahassee for many, many years.
Yes, you did. Right.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was my introduction. I was from Brooklyn, went down to Florida. I go, okay, this country is pretty massive. Different
Well,
vibes all throughout.
yeah, the Brooklyn to St. Augustine was a change. I had a chance to visit Brooklyn. That was back in the early '90s when I went there. But yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I love New York, all of New York.
Well, the thing is that what I liked about being able to travel is about collecting experiences. And
Yes.
so your book, Images, really does that through the lens of art. So talk to me, how exactly did the idea of the book come all about?
Well, Images is a collection of art over time. I have, as an art teacher, I've been teaching over 30 something years. And I always encourage students to focus on their expressions and create, don't worry what people are going to say about it, but create the expression. And so every year we have 2 or 3 different art shows. And I'm always pushing them to excel, excel, excel. So Images is a compilation of those periods of time. Um, I guess if I ramble too much, you can cut me off too. But
I would
um,
never
I've
do
had
that.
I've had students who've gone on to become professional architects and engineers from art, and also at least 5 or 6 who've gone on to become professional illustrators. So they had their work and their names attached to illustrated books. And so I said, well, it's time for me to do my own, because I can't really tell people what to do without showing them that I'm willing to do the same thing. So Images was that first book, but I have 5 or 6 others that's coming behind Images.
Well, before I even get to my second question, that's pretty cool. The semblance of leadership there. You know, a lot of people tell you what you can and can't do, but you actually went through a practical path to say, "Hey, look, you can do it as well." I commend that for sure.
Yes.
So a lot of us, and look, I'll be honest with you. I am also in the African American community. When we have a first exposure to art, there's always a dynamic of it not being seen as valid. You know, get a real job, go out there and do the sciences. You know, do something with your hands. Not, of course, not to say that to diminish the work you did in the years you spent on perfecting your craft, but did you have to do with some of that during your career, being able to say, "Hey, look, I'm an artist. Let me find a way to break through what I want to say with a pen and paper."
Well, actually, I had great parents and very supportive of it, and they encouraged my continuation in drawing and stuff. Even my father said once that that I can quit anything that I wanted to quit that I was doing in life, but never stop drawing, because one day it would feed me, and it has. I mean, that's been my career. Now there are other things I was interested in, like a degree in business or something like that, but art has been that thing that I guess if you say young, it has kept me young, kept me looking forward, and I love the language of art.
Yeah. And when you create, is it kind of like when the inspiration strikes, or do you set time aside every day? Like 3 o'clock is art time. Do not answer any phone calls. I'm
Well,
working.
well, my creative time is late at night now. I guess between two and sunrise. That's my creative time. But no, the inspiration itself. I'm always fascinated by people, places, and things anyway. And sometimes I'm just walking or doing something and observing, and it sort of kind of help to generate different ideas and stuff. Then I try to, uh, well, I guess my expressions from that inspiration, I try to put them in a sketchbook or something like that, and see what comes of it.
Wait, so you say that you mostly create between 2 and sunrise?
Yeah, that's the quiet time.
You're just out there like Batman, just out not sleeping
Oh,
in the middle of the
oh,
night?
I'm in my house, but in my house, and that time got the stereo headphones on, and
Yeah.
listening and vibing, and all of a sudden, okay, let me try this, and you get started, and next thing you know, you have piece of artwork, and I didn't know this was going to show up in the picture like that. But behind me is a painting that I'm working on now. I started back in February. Uh, it's entitled "On the Phone."
Oh.
Because right now everyone has that phone. It's in your hand all the time. And so this student was in my, yes, in your hand. There we go.
In my hand, yeah.
And so she was in my classroom, but she was on the phone, and I just happened to turn from my desk, and I took a quick snapshot. I said, I like that. And so I said, one day I will, paint on the phone. And so I got started this year.
Okay, that's actually, you raised something that piques my interest. When you're creating a piece, whatever medium you decide to, what is the balance of, hey, I'm going to try to do something complete today in the moment. I'm going to build this over time, or maybe put this into the trash pile. Like, do you have to like wrestle with that while you're creating?
Great term, wrestle with. There are some things that you can create very easily, and I mean, you would just want to put, like for instance, I paint. Use acrylic paint. Sometimes it's just a fast process. Put it on the canvas, or the canvas is telling you, communicating with you. Put the paint on the canvas and let it be done. And there are other times, like with the on the phone, that's a bit more involved, because I want to capture the essence of being on the phone, is how much control or attention that phone is asking you to give it. And this person, as you can look, has a hand up under the chin, resting, looking at the phone. And so, and that's where we are today. That phone really, it's a good engagement piece. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's something that I think that, I try to capture in terms of a painting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting, man, because you see works from a particular artist and what inspires them, it can run the gamut. And I know it's a lot of times we say as artists we create and let the outsider try to put it in boxes. We're not doing that, but a lot of times we realize that we have our own themes and things that really pique our interest more than others, and that was pretty
Yes.
cool because technology is everywhere.
It is everywhere.
Yeah.
It is everywhere. And I guess for the artists in your realm and in mine, we try to capture it, and we do put it out there. And that's our job. And if we do our job well, then people will pay attention. If not, they'll pay attention later on.
So you had mentioned that you're working on things in the future, but we're talking about images now. It's available on Amazon. And so what was the process after you created to decide what made the cut, the order of of your art pieces in the book? Like, what was that process like after you completed the actual work?
Well, something, as a teacher, one of the things that we have not problems, but we find is that people really, will read the blurb, but we won't read the novel, so to speak. And so with the art books, art communicates by itself. You don't need words to really say it. You just put the image there, and it'll interact with you. And so that's the process that I wanted the book to have. Even the publisher did not necessarily agree with me. They said, well, we don't think that this is enough. But I said, well, no, the book is designed to make the viewer turn the page.
Oh.
If I can get you to turn the page from one image to the next, then I've done my job. And that's why you don't have there's no categories in it. It's just image after image, some paintings, some drawings, and it's designed to, like I said, to make you turn the page.
Yeah. And so were there many iterations of that? Was it like a lightning strike? Like, oh man, this is perfect. Or it was kind of like you went through it, you turned the page yourself as a reader and going, no, this would be more impactful here. Like, what was that selection process like?
Well, really, it was random, and then some things I did take a logical approach to.
Yeah.
If there was a painting, then I wanted something less complex right behind it.
Yeah.
And so I think in the book there's a lot of continuous line drawing, and that's a technique of drawing where when you put the pencil or pen down on the paper, you don't pick it up until you feel like the image is complete. And once you pick it up, that image is complete. So you stop drawing at that point. And that continuous line technique is one that allows you to, it's a logical take advantage of the human brain.
Yeah.
Human brain and the eyes will follow a continuous line. Okay, and no matter what you draw with the continuous line, it's going to look good.
Mm.
So that's why there's a number of continuous line drawings in the book.
Yeah, I've dabbled with that, and maybe I want your insight on this as well, because I felt like I got a bad draw the hand in my career. I felt
Right.
like I had the art teachers that had such a high standard, I couldn't compete. And by the time I got to sixth grade, I said, phooey, I can't do art at all. But am I giving these art teachers a bad rap? What happened there, man?
Well, I guess the rebellion part. There are some teachers who like to teach the technical aspects of art and drawing and reproduction. And I guess early in my career, I may have done the same thing. And then I learned that there's a greater appreciation for a person's ideas and concepts that comes from them as they are. Okay, I can always teach someone how to draw something as we call technically correct, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and also I say a large part into that person who's you know the passion that's coming up, that's passionate about drawing something or creating something. Well, that passion goes into that drawing, and so when they finish, the passion is still there because how you draw a line or something like that or whatever, how you express yourself. It's still there, and so I think that's one of the things that I try to encourage students to do, and that is just to be creative. I buy a ton of sketchbooks every year, and if a child is drawing, and I teach elementary, kindergarten through 12th grade. So if a child is drawing, and I tell parents, don't discourage them. I said, buy them a sketchbook, let them draw in the sketchbook, show them that you appreciate it, and I said it will pay off in the end for you and them.
Yeah. And our parents are like, we'll try that, or they're like, wow, what do you know? Like are they receptive or they push back?
I'm sorry, repeat that part.
Our parents, when you tell them that advice, hey, buy your kids a sketchbook, get them involved. Are they
Oh,
receptive, or they go, I don't know, really? What do you think? Like,
they are very receptive because I keep pushing the idea that of creativity in artistic expression. Um, Young children are very creative. Period. Okay, they don't know all the parameters of you should or should not do this. They simply put the image down on the paper. They'll sit down and they'll just work. Um, as a young art teacher, now what I did was I used to have these lessons and stuff all prepared for the uh, students, and I'm talking about kindergarten through fourth grade down right now. And so what they would do is that they would come in and they said, I don't want to do this.
yeah,
And I said, and I was a young me would say, well, that's the lesson for the day. And then as I got older, I learned only thing I really needed to do for a young child was to provide them with some media or some materials to work with. And I started to let them gravitate to that medium. Okay. And I found out that the number of students that I had wanting to be in my art class just went up exponentially.
yeah.
And so parents got hooked on that process too.
Oh man, that must have been kind of interesting trying to find the right path to break through some of your students. Almost like trying to decipher a lock and key, right? Kind of like,
Mhm.
they love this. So much respect for teachers because I know they can really foster an imagination if they're done right, and we can see what happens when that doesn't happen the way we want to. Switching gears a bit, though, if you don't mind me to put a little praise on you there, sir. I was watching some videos on YouTube on how you were helping out Sylvester Peck Jr. on the baseball diamond. For
Yeah.
the great, I'm a big baseball guy too, but the idea
Uh-huh.
you're teaching the next generation about the history of the game just shows you your love of making sure the next generation knows the tools at their disposal.
Wow. Well, thank you for watching that. He is a tremendous baseball coach, and that was his passion. I mean, from a young kid on, he tried other sports, which just cost us some doctor bills with injuries and stuff like that. But
Right.
baseball, he went through college. He went to a junior college, played his first year, and became team captain and an MVP. And from there, he went on to got a scholarship to Jackson State University and played out there. Which at that time, I mean, it was hard to get to Jackson State to play baseball, but he got there. And so, in his senior year in college, he transferred back to Florida A&M University, where he played there. I mean, and he became an honor roll student, academic student and all that kind of stuff. And I said, wow, okay. His love of baseball, I didn't try to hold him back. I didn't try to overly encourage him about continuation stuff. I let him decide what he wanted to do. And so it's paying off for him and our baseball program. We're waiting right now for a student one of our players, our only senior, to decide what scholarship he's going to accept.
Yeah. Yeah. It's art in its own way, right? Being
Yes,
able to
indeed.
create. Just going back to images again, the book is available now at the finest bookstores, and we'll tell people how they can get a copy of it at the end of the show. But one of the cool things I did like is that it's just so accessible. Like anyone
Yeah.
today can pick up a copy, go through it today. The idea that must have been a concerted effort to make sure there was no giant barriers to seeing your work.
Oh yeah, that was great. Matter of fact, I want to encourage everybody that's looking at this show, this video, to get a copy. And I'm saying that for two reasons. One, yes, I know that my publisher will love sales and as sales go up, but also I want to, as a teacher, I want them to see the things that the drawings and the paintings that's inside, and I want them to realize that their children may have, well, actually far greater skills than my own. But that love for art, I would like to foster that every opportunity that I get. And so, yeah, go out and buy the book. I love it.
And how long over the time did this come together? Was it months? Was it years? To bring
To put it together, it took about a year to put everything together, from the collecting the images and put them in one file, because over a 30 years period of time, there are thousands of images and stuff like that. So
yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, with so many years you have in the game and craft, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, over that period of time, I mean, let's say a year.
Yeah, and I know this is kind of a cliche podcast question, but someone's might be curious. Is there a particular piece that's inside the book now that you would say, "Hey, look, if you're taking a look at it, this is one that really speaks to me as an artist. Check it out in depth."
Well, I will say yes, the violin player, and the violin player is one of my students played the violin, so I was just enchanted by the way that she played the violin. I mean, just hooked me, and so I wanted to take her music and how she played the violin, her passion for it, and I put it into that painting. And that painting we fought each other for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And so when it finished, the offers I stopped accepting offers. Matter of fact, I never sold the painting, but the last one was $3,000 and so I said no. Sell prints, but I'm in love with the violin player myself.
Yeah.
And my wife said I couldn't sell it anyway, so it's.
What's that like though? When you are just blood, sweat, tears over a piece that sometimes you're thinking, is there ever going to be an end in sight? And you finish it, and someone goes, "That's great, I want it." Is it hard to get rid of, or is it kind of like, "No, okay, get away from me"? Like, what's it like usually?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a very good question. Now, my thing with the violin player was that I knew. I mean, when I finished, I knew every brush stroke. I knew every emotion that went into the brush strokes, and trying to capture certain the emotion of the face and stuff, and just the right way that the fingers and stuff. It takes to play violin. I mean, it's like a gymnast with the hands in terms of playing the violin, and so. Yeah, that was difficult to get rid of, but at some point I told my wife, if I'm doing my job as an artist, someone will buy it, and that's good too, because that's just spreading the work of expanding the reach of the work.
Sometimes people have that moment when they go, "Man, this life chose me." And I guess maybe I might have had the worst experience with me in actual fine art. I kind of stepped away from it. But there's a part of me that thinks that the lightning may strike, the bug may bite me to create again. What would happen? Is there an age limit? There's no age limit, right? You can start becoming an artist today. What would I do? Let's say if I get bit by that bug this weekend, especially after checking out your book, Images. What's the first thing to do to put myself on the path to becoming an artist?
Well, I would say first thing I would do is just pick up a pen or a pencil or something to express yourself with, because we all draw. I mean, that's if you go to put a pen or pencil in your hand at lunch, and there's a napkin there, and you put your put that pen in your hand, I guarantee you start doing something on that napkin. And so it's a natural process. And so I guess the encouragement would be that we'll let whatever's inside of you come out. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't try to make it look good. Let it look like what it's going to look like. And the rest of the world, in terms of when they view it, they'll interact with it and they'll say, yes, that was great, or no, it was not. And like I said earlier, as an artist, we really don't care about that. We just want to make sure that we get it out.
Yeah. As we wind this down here, I do have a question about the hot topic issue.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence. I know a lot of artists have different opinions on it. Where do you stand on the rise of using that as a tool for others?
Well, I'll tell you what, the charcoal for the caveman to the pencil and the chalk of as art developed, it's a tool. And so I don't know if it could generate some great things based on a person's imagination. It still doesn't think for itself. It doesn't generate anything without input. And so the input is still in the creator, I guess, would be the person who's giving the input. That's the artist. Now the product it's going to be what that program gives you. Okay. Mm-hmm. But the overall idea itself is in the person who's providing the input.
Yeah. No, you know what? You're absolutely right. Artists are artists for a reason. The book is called Images, The Art of Sylvester Peck. Seen is available now at fine bookstores, including Amazon. I want to thank you so much for being on the show here today. But here's the fun part, sir. If someone wants to learn more about you, your story, connect with you, see other books in the future, how do they go about doing that?
Well, I'll just tell you what, you go to my website, just Google my name. I have a artist website out there. And I believe that there's an email. You can contact me. I think most of my personal information is out there online anyway. And I would love for anyone to, we're talking art, we can talk all day. And I would love that interaction. And I would also like for, especially parents with children or people that are just interested in art, get the book. I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
And the fact that you're here today is inspiring enough as it is. And I may give it a chance, and maybe I'm going to pick up a brushstroke. I can't promise you this, Mr. Peck, but if I do, I'm going to thank you for giving me the inspiration.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would like to see it and just try it. I guarantee you.
Well, that was the challenge. I got to do it. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you very much.